Izzy, the crowd was smaller tonight, the meeting far more organized, and unlike last week when it took more than 2 hours for council to open the meeting for public comment, tonight citizens only had to wait 30 minutes to speak about Atatiana Jefferson. Some 80 people signed up to speak. They are still speaking upstairs right now, and so far the messages largely echoed what council heard last week, speaker after speaker expressing their outrage about Jefferson's death and saying they do not feel safe. They also complained about last week's meeting and said the city mishandled crowd control and stifled citizens' voices.
Her cry has gone around the world, and my city council members, you haven't heard it.
Aaron Dean, the murderer, is walking around plotting a senseless defense. He should be ashamed. The department should be ashamed.
If Fort Worth had any good cops, they would be reporting and getting rid of the bad cops. Since that is not the case, and police-initiated crimes against Black and brown people continue to occur, me and my family are less safe, and you are all complicit in that.
Activists promise they will continue to come to these council meetings, keep sharing this same message. One other note, tonight the city says it plans to expedite its plan to have an outside board of expert review the Fort Worth Police Department. That panel could include academics, possibly other police chiefs from around the country. We are told they could begin their work as soon as next week with a full review of the department's policies and tactics. Live at City Hall, I'm Bradley Black.